Okay, in this video, I am going to start teaching my dog the number 23 rally sign, which is the straight figure 8 twice. My dog already understands rear end awareness. He understands reining. He's already had some circle work and some independent cone work. So basically, this is nothing but sequencing all those skills. I will use my reining, etc. if I need it. I will use card and Poe. Poe will be on leash, card will be off. I will always do random reinforcement to keep building desire and focus while sequencing. Also, I will be making sure that I add my dig work in. It's very, very important. All right, here we go. Oh, I didn't like that one. No, I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one. Okay, so he came a little bit too wide over here, so I want to make sure that I go back and I reinforce that. Come here. I'm going to reinforce it. Yes, good boy. Anytime he's incorrect, I need to break off, abort, and then try again. He gets it right, he gets rewarded, and then I start over again. Remember, sequencing isn't about correcting and continuing on. Sequencing is about the sequence is perfection and meets my criteria. Out. Good boy! Yay! Good job, buddy. Here, come here. Come here. Come here. Out. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Quit. Okay, plus. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that was terrible. Quit. Plus. Oh, yeah, hurt. Plus. Very nice. Yes, good boy. Okay, what I didn't like in the repetition before when I broke off was that he started forging and pushing too much. So I don't want that, right? That meet my criteria. A little bit wide there, so I'm going to have to watch that. Good boy! So I got the whole sequence. Wasn't overly thrilled with the circle down there at the very end. So I need to go back and I'm going to work on that real quick just by itself. Instead of continuing to do the entire thing, because I want tight there, I'm going to work on that first. Out. Good boy! So I can break a skill out of this sequence and perfect it before I put it back in. Here you go. Out. Close. Close. Giving him a little bit of a leash check there. And note that I am playing and reinforcing him between each. Takes the pressure off the dog, allows them to think about what they're doing without a lot of stress. Out. Lovely. Now he did that on his own without anything from me. So now I can go back and I can do the sequence again. Close. Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Did you see him look away? Not going to go on if he's not going to do it. That's dig work. Whoa, there you go. Good boy. Come here. Ouch. Close. Yes, good boy. No, it's still too wide. Close. Good boy. So I gave him a little bit more of a check on the leash there and then praised him. Take him close. Close. Good boy! Yay! Good job. So I may not be able to do the entire sequence with him today. That's okay. I don't mind that. It gives me information. It tells me I need to be working on my loops a little bit more before I start putting more into the sequence. Try one more time on this. Good. Close. Good boy. Good. Close. So I'm going to try this cone to that cone. So I'm just backward chaining this sequence. Out. Left. Nicely done. Yes. So I'm going to stop on that with him today. So, even though I've done different work with him, he still is having an issue with the entire sequence with the round loop over there. So I want to make sure that I work on that loop a little bit more so that he perfects it and understands the cues as well as what my criteria is for him to do. And then I'll try the whole thing again. For right now, I'm happy with what I got. I got a lot of effort. Good boy. Nicely done. Good job. Okay, just because he could do it doesn't mean I'm still not going to go back and reinforce it. Make sure that he's getting rewarded on a random basis. Come on. Oh, that's gorgeous. I know. Good boy. Good boy. Settle. Settle. All right, so wrap up. Please note, too, that I'm not always starting my dog from a sit. All right? In the ring, he's not going to be in a sit in most cases. So I want to make sure, number one, if I start to sit, that's a skill all into itself, and I don't want to start diluting the criteria of that skill in order to do another, right? It's sequencing. Card did a beautiful job. I was very, very happy. He pushed me a little bit in one spot, and that's when I broke off and said, I'm not going to do that. Remember my criteria. I was very happy with all of Card's endeavors on this. For Poe did a very, very nice job. He's still learning all of this, and I'm still starting to sequence with him. So it was interesting to see that I have a little bit of an issue on that on the last tight loop that I have to do. I do teach all my dogs to do it very, very tight. Now, in the ring, I probably will do a little bit less as far as the tightness, because I don't want them to hit the cone, right? Because that's scoreable. But I'm going to teach them tight, and I'm going to teach them at a little bit different distances so that they understand how to maneuver to my cueing and my body, as opposed to just doing what the exercise calls for. I can also throw in some different things in here to keep it energizing and fun. I can put in moving sits and moving downs. I can do, instead of doing the sequence all the way down, I can loop each and every cone. So let me try that with the card. See what happens. Come here. Card. Sit. Close. Good boy. Settle. Settle. Good job. So I can keep it interesting, not only for my dog, but also for me. That's also being able to practice a couple of other skills. For Poe, I will start adding stuff like this into Poe training as soon as I think he really understands what the criteria is. Once he understands criteria, I start bumping it up all a little bit more so that I keep their energy and their focus and their joy in this to the maximum. So there you go. You go off and have a really good day, and make sure you stay tuned for the training tip. It should be coming up next. Have a good day. Hi, training tip for the day. Shifting responsibility. This is a biggie. It's very important to shift the responsibility of a skill or sequence or an exercise to your dog before you ever show. And what I mean by shifting responsibility is, I mean, basically you can say it once and the dog will do it. You can cue it once and the dog will do it, and the dog understands criteria. It's really important that your dog does understand criteria before you start shifting responsibility. Now, how you shift responsibility, the consequence that you use is totally up to you, and it should be to the dog's temperament. Okay, and that's really important as well. So if I am shifting responsibility on heeling and my dog doesn't do a good job, for an inexperienced dog, for a dog that has a softer temperament, and I hate to use the word softer, they're just a little bit more emotional, they're a little bit more sensitive, whatever you want to use, I would just do a push and play, which is it's a game and a consequence that I use, and my dogs are taught that before I ever put it into training. See previous videos on that. And you know, I want to make sure that the dog understands, though, that it is a consequence. So in this kind of scenario, I may not necessarily play right off the bat. I may withhold the play. I may just do the push. I want the dog jumping back at me, ready to go. It's a cue to them that they were incorrect. Now, I can also use leash pops. I can use reining. I can do anything that I want to do, as long as the dog understands it prior to me putting into training. So shifting the responsibility means that I get rid of all my extra cues. I get rid of all my extra verbal. I get rid of all my extra, what I call aiding the dog, that I do in teaching. I have to get rid of all of that. And that's where the shifting the responsibility comes in. And personally, as probably the biggest issue in training nowadays is exactly the shifting the responsibility. You know, we have a tendency to want our dogs to be right, and so we give a lot of extra cues. We give, you know, our dog gets in trouble, and instead of saying, hey, you know this, we say, well, here, let me help you. Well, when you help a dog that is supposed to understand the criteria, you make them helpless. When you make them helpless, they learn not to give you effort. And so you're really tumbling down a very steep hill. So remember, shifting responsibility is a part of training. The consequence that you use is up to you, and it should be gauged to the temperament of the dog. Once you have done a shifting of responsibility, then that dog should never need the extra help or anything else. They should know what they need to do regardless of the location or the situation. So there's your training tip for the day. Shift responsibility. It's very, very important. Make sure you get that done before you actually show. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. I'd love to hear your comments.